Hello, everybody. Well, when do you come on? Excuse me, smothered here. Nicole, I just have to go and see can I connect with Mary Kay, which I've done. Hello, Elaine. How you keeping? Just connecting here, Elaine. Good show tonight here on past life regression. Yeah, if I can. I just sent an invite there to Mary Kay. Mary's watching. Bring Mary on. A bit of magic here. Mary should appear any second. I hope. So yeah, forward to tonight's show.
Yeah.
Wow, that was cool. Okay, that was very easier. Much easier than
And
Derek.
here we are.
How are you doing, Mary? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How about yourself, Karl?
Yeah, fantastic, Mary. Just the weather. I think it's getting everybody a bit down at the moment, and
Uh,
it's warm, but you know, you're looking at the window. It's raining and grey and miserable, and it just brings us back to our normal summers, you know. But
yeah,
just gotta wait for a few more people to join us, Mary. So yeah, a
sure.
lot of excitement about tonight. You know, I know we were supposed to hook up last Wednesday night, but you had a prior engagement, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were asking us during the week. I have a few questions here, Mary Kay, on the past life regression itself.
Ah,
So
okay.
sent in there during the week. So I know it's a topic that a lot of people are interested. Some are even scared. Going by the questions I have here, some
Oh,
people,
yeah,
yeah, some people might just be a little bit scared of it too, you know. But it's like anything. It's just the unknown, isn't it, for a lot of people, you know.
that's true.
So
Very true.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. You know, so we'll just wait for a few more people to come on. And hello, everybody.
Sure, yeah.
Um,
It's like I tell people, I haven't lost anybody yet.
no, you haven't exactly, and I haven't myself.
No, we haven't.
Oh, okay. So Mary, you know, I suppose I met you. I suppose I had the pleasure of being your tutor in a training room. I think it must be 8, 9 years ago, Mary. Is that right?
Yeah,
It's
it's close to 8. I think it's close to 8 years. Yeah.
8 years ago, Mary, and I remember it well. We did that training up in the Green Island Hotel in what you call it there, Newlands Cross. And
Yes.
yeah, so I remember you did your 6 month course, and it's a funny thing between me and Mary because I have to admit, going back to that time in my life, I was a skeptic, big time, really, real big
Major.
skeptic. Nothing personal, but I just, you know, I just couldn't understand. I couldn't accept the process or the belief that you know we might have been here before and reincarnation. You know, but then again, as I always say to people, I only know what I've been told in life. Doesn't mean it's true. Okay, so
That's
I'm open to everything, but you know, we used to have a laugh, and Mary will tell you I was the first one that would say to her, listen, I've enough problems in this life without going back to different lives and finding more problems. So we used to have a bit of a laugh about the whole thing. And until I seen Mary Kay in action, I think probably 6 years ago, maybe, or yeah, I think around that time.
yeah.
Because Mary finished off her training, she became a you know a fully qualified hypnotherapist as well as all the other things you do. And so from that moment on, we have been in contact. Mary joined our hypnosis limited there, I think it must be 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Mary
Two,
runs the
3 years.
clinic in Blackrock in Dublin, and
I do.
do fantastic work. Mary, I'm just going to introduce what I know about you, Mary. She does a lot of work with Women's Inspire groups and a lot of networking groups around the country.
Yes.
She sees people
Women's in business.
yeah, she sees people one-to-ones for past life regression and also hypnosis, but also energy work as well. And I could sit down with Mary all night and talk about quantum physics, for instance, but we're not going to do that tonight. Okay.
Okay.
So there's a good few people there now. I can see Derek there. Hey, doing Derek. Hope you're enjoying your evening off. And so, Mary, we'll just get into it, you know, because I think we probably have about 30 minutes, 40 minutes tonight. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay, so Mary, I've probably 5 or 6 questions here that come in. And the first question out to you there is, I think it's a great question to start off with because I think it will answer a lot of stuff here for a lot of people out there. So the question we have in is from, I won't go through any answer, but it's what is past life regression and how do you do it?
Okay, well, past life regression is a belief, a system that says we have lived or existed previous in another lifetime. Okay,
Yeah.
Past life regression's been present in the Buddhist traditions and all through time, philosophies and everything. There is a concept, and even there are articles that I've read that said even in some parts of they didn't make it into the Bible, but in some parts of the Christian tradition, there are mentions of regression and reincarnation. So the idea is that our soul or our spirit, when we die here, will go back and come back and into another body, another being, so it can reach enlightenment. And that's that kind of process that happens there. Now, how it gets done, there's several ways. There is meditation. People can meditate and access past lives that way. There is dreams. Dreams will, sometimes we can have dreams. Usually they're historical. Usually they can be in timelines, very sequential, and maybe different talents or things about you. It's a you, but a different you, a different part of you. And those can be interpreted as past life. There's a technique called the Netherton technique.
Yeah.
And we like that one, don't we?
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and with the Netherton technique, what he would do, he would listen to the interview of the person, listen for common recurring phrases, and then what he'd do is take that phrase and have them repeat that phrase over and over again until it basically would put them in a light trance and take them back to a past life, and then he would proceed from there. And the idea behind it's much like when people would chant or have a word that they would use, like Om, when we're doing certain things. It creates and connects to a vibration. So those phrases, those words connect to a specific vibration and can lead back into a past life. And then, of course, there's hypnosis, which is my favorite. And simply because with hypnosis, it's the others can be a little hit and miss or feel like a little hit and miss. Whereas hypnosis, you can be quite, specific. You can be quite direct about what you're looking to access and how you're accessing.
Yeah. Okay.
And so those are basically the ways.
Sorry.
No, you're grand.
I'm just thinking about the people out there, for myself, I think everyone's experienced deja vu, for instance. Like,
Yes.
You're going through something in your life, but you have this feeling inside that you've done this before, or you've experienced the same situation before, And is there any tips out there you give to people that might be, because is there more people that would be prone to it than others, or do you think is it more people be aware of it, or what? Is there any tips out there for people?
Well, I would say people maybe who are maybe they have a lot of current issues in their life. Okay,
Right.
People who maybe are in trauma or drama, or people who have a repetitive pattern that they have no explanation for here in this life, like they've never experienced anything even similar to that. These would be the people that I would say probably have something, quote, past life that may need to be ferreted out to help them kind of get through those patterns. So those would be the people I would say would be top of the list that might have past life issues. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And then again, you have to go with, what do people believe? Okay, because there'll be other people who may actually have some past life connections that will go, oh no, that's like too scary, too crazy, or that's just not real.
Yeah. I was there, and again, just want to pick up on a couple of things you said, Mary, because I remember because I'm the director of the Institute of Clinical Therapy, I have the pleasure of sitting in with Mary sometimes when she's, Mary, we'll talk about this later on, but Mary, for the Institute of Clinical Therapy Ireland, would run mastery classes in past life regression for beginners and, advanced and even qualified hypnotherapists. But the last time I was there, it's only probably about 3-4 months ago, and I won't mention any names, there's a chap there, and probably the most skeptical person in the room, and he admitted it himself. And you used the Netherton technique, and I have to say the hairs on my neck stood up in the room, because he went up and he sort of went up, but in a fairness to him, he was skeptical, but he followed the process, and he used this Netherton technique. And when you asked him what was his phrase that he'd constantly say to himself, that he nearly said to himself from a child, was, "It's a wind up, it's a wind up, it's a wind up." And Mary asked this guy to keep saying it, keep repeating it, and it was actually quite incredible to watch, because he started off normal, but within maybe 30 seconds, 40 seconds, he started going into a bit of a repetitious trance, maybe like an automatic trance, and he could actually see his whole body change. And eventually, looks of confusion on his face, and then looks of peace, and then a bit of stress, and then eventually, I can't remember the details, but I think it was the 18th century he went back to in London, and it was quite incredible. And I think from what I remember, his uncle was holding his hand, and he brought him into an old derelict house. And basically what the
Hmm.
uncle was doing was leaving him there to die because
To die, yeah.
tuberculosis or something he had. Was there something like that?
Yeah, I think that's what he said, tuberculosis or
He,
something. I can't remember exactly
there
what
was
it was,
something,
but it was fatal.
yeah, there was something which was really contagious. So basically what the uncle was doing, it's horrific, and you know, you think about what people did go through, but basically leaving them in this derelict house to die, basically. And
Yeah,
wow, you know,
because
and you know,
yeah, and it was, and quite honestly, when he came up, and this always amazes me because you know, I try not to have any preconceived ideas about how this is going to go,
yeah,
but sometimes you kind of just, you know, this one could be a tough, and is it really going to go through, and is he really going to relax enough to get into the process?
yeah,
But he did amazing, just as you said, he did amazing.
yeah,
And what always fascinates me with this is the how the body responds, because honestly, these phrases, these words, everything is stored within the cells within the body.
yeah,
And when we start with that word or that trance or that statement, then those cells begin to get activated because we're feeding it what it wants. We're
vibration.
feeding it something. Yes.
Yeah, vibration. Yeah, and again,
Yeah.
Mary has educated me greatly to vibration over the years. And again, going back 6, 7 years ago, I'd have been but you know, it's true, and you know, we're energy. So basically, when he's repeating the same phrase and phrase, the vibration basically would have regressed him back to another time in a different life where he's felt that same, you know, experience of
Exactly.
the
A
vibration.
different vibration.
Yeah,
A different phrase, we would have
yeah,
went a different place.
yeah, yeah. Incredible stuff, you know, I have to say. And again, to when you witness it yourself and you see actually somebody, you know, on that day, I think you work with about 4 or 5 people demonstrations, and there's another girl who basically, I think she had number 45 on her. She was a slave, and it's
Oh
just
yeah.
quite incredible. And the question, Mary, is just for the people out there, is it possible to heal trauma in a different life? So say somebody's suffering with panic attacks today, or you know, some sort of massive emotional challenge in their life that they can't figure out and no one can figure out.
Hmm.
Is it possible that if you found something back, say, the 14th century or 18th century, 16th century, that was quite traumatic,
Hmm.
is it possible that you could work there in that century and heal in this century? Is that possible?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Because we've done
yeah,
it.
I know.
We've done it. And it can be done. And the reason being is when I approach these past lives, I'm approaching it. Now there's a lot of people, there's a very spiritual side to past life regression. And I'm not denying that nor saying, and I do use some sorts of their processes at times. But basically, I'm approaching this from the term of energy and vibration. And so if that vibration of trauma is in them, all right, and it extends all the way back to whatever century, 16th, 15th, 14th, when that comes up, we can go ahead and use therapeutic interventions to heal that process there. I mean, we've had people who were, I had a lady years ago afraid of cats. And when she came back from her regression, she wasn't afraid anymore because
Yeah,
she had
yeah,
encountered this lion, and so she and that was instantaneous,
yeah. I, I,
instantaneous.
I experienced it once, Mary, and it was basically a spontaneous regression back to a past life. It wasn't my intention for the person to go back there. But, you know, I think I was going back to the childhood first 6, 7 years of life to find out the first time they felt trapped in a
Uh-huh.
situation where they panicked. But, you know,
Yeah,
we always been like a buffer there that, you know, go back to the first time you experienced it after you're born. And it stops people traveling back further than that. But whatever happened, that didn't process in her mind. And she went back to the 17th century and basically was a slave, but also basically knew that she was going to die the next day. You know, she basically going
yeah,
to be murdered and all that sort of stuff. So having major panic attacks, and you know, when I was there, you know, the hypnotist in me was going, no, get her back out of this one to fix it in the right in her own this life. And I said, no, let's do it here. And same result. So we could remove it. So something just really hit me there, Mary. You know, so say somebody with a fear of spiders, okay, or you
with
know,
what?
fear of being trapped today. Say somebody
Oh
with a
yeah,
fear of
fear of
spiders or
yeah,
fear of being trapped today. Okay. So say once they go into that situation, you know, the energy changes basically. The panic kicks in. You know, the knot in the stomach, the
right.
heartbeat. So is it that moment when they realize that they're in the situation with the spider and they can't get out? The vibration changes and then goes back to an earlier experience of that same vibration. Would that be a fair point, you think? Like,
that is it. That
that's
is
something now that's
exactly
just
it.
made a lot of sense for me there now.
You've been a very good student,
Okay.
Karl.
I
But
am
that's
indeed. I
exactly
am.
it.
But no, yeah. So basically, the 2-year-old, the spider, she wakes up, spider runs across her face. She goes into sheer terror. So there's a vibration and energy. Okay. And then when she's 32, she's in a bathroom, the door won't open or something like that, the massive spider. And that same energy kicks in, the same vibration. Which brings her
Same
back to the first
vibration.
time she. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
That
Same.
makes
It's
massive
all
sense, doesn't it?
vibration. Does. And
It's like when somebody walks in
the
the room.
person
Yeah.
that you go ahead.
Sorry, I was just saying,
Oh,
it's like when somebody walks in the room. Sometimes we just get a bad feeling or a good feeling. It's the same thing with
yep.
the energy. Isn't it? We just get this sort of gut instinct. Or
Exactly.
yeah, okay, brilliant. Okay, Mary.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, next question, Mary, is past life regression real? As in, is there proof of it? Like, I know, and the thing about Mary is, every time I see her lecture in this stuff, she'll always start off the day by saying, "Listen, is it real or not? I don't know." And I always love the way you do that. But then she goes off and gives you proof after proof after proof. So this person here is asking, like, is it real, Mary? Is there proof? Is
Is
there
it fair?
other people
Okay.
that have sort of noted, had experiences that are sort of recorded in history? Is there?
Exactly. All right. Well, as I say in the class, I cannot stand here and tell you, yes, this is real and this is what you need to believe.
Yeah.
That's not my job.
No.
And I'm not here to make you believe anything because I can't. I can't even say with honesty that I believe in past life regression. Now, how about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I know is as a therapy, it works extremely well. It works to help. And I'm sorry, what was the last part of the question?
Oh, is there any proof? Like, is there any
Proof.
historical proofs there where somebody has experienced it and then went back and then they say somebody went back to Cork, and I think there was a story about Mary Murphy or something, wasn't there? But have you any other proofs?
Yeah,
Just for
okay.
the people watching.
Sure, sure. There is there is a story that came out early, back in the 1900s, about 1970, 1980. I can't, my date may be off, but of a young boy. And I have to say, this would have been the one story that would have really turned my head and said, yeah, there's something to this. Okay. Because most proof is anecdotal. Okay.
Yeah.
From an experience that someone's had. All right. Then, excuse me. And this was a little child. He was 2, I think. And his name was James Leninger.
Yeah.
And this kid knew everything about fighter planes, everything. He could tell the parts, he could tell them this. And the parents are like, well, this is kind of weird. And he went on, but he was also having nightmares at night. And one of the things that his mom would say, he would say to his mom, is little man can't get out. And he would lay on his back and just kick and push and kick and push, like he was trying to get out of something.
Right.
And the parents actually, rather than going, oh my God, I have to take my kid to a shrink, they started listening to him. And the father started going in and researching these things that his son was telling him about what he saw and what he felt. And he would make pictures of dog fights in the air with planes shooting each other and planes going down. I mean, this is a baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it ended up that he started talking about different things. And the father found reference to a man, James Houston, because he said his name was James too. And that he was, this little boy was James Houston, the fighter pilot from World War II.
Yeah.
And they started researching, and this little boy could tell you the names of the people on his crew who were on the flight deck. And actually they took him to meet these people, and these men had never met this child. And the boy walks in, he says, yeah, that's so and so, and that's him, and you did this and you did that. And everybody was totally amazed. And then he started talking about his sister,
Right.
the fighter pilot's sister. And so she started talking to him in her acting, because the parents were trying to help this baby get rid of these nightmares. And she started talking to him, and he said, went to the house to visit, and talked about a picture that was behind her. And he said, yeah, he said, we didn't paint, you painted that one, but you didn't paint the other one of me. So it was only something he would have known,
Wow.
and her brother. And everybody was convinced that this child was this, and he was a baby, so it wasn't like he read this somewhere.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
they, yeah, later in time, what they did is they actually took him, that he ran across a picture. He said, Dad, that's it. That's where my plane went down. So the parents took him to that space, and they did a ceremony where they threw flowers and they uh, metaphorically buried James Houston, the fighter pilot. And after that, the dream stopped.
wow.
And yeah, it
So
was
he's looking,
very
looking,
amazing.
looking for peace, basically, was it, Mary? Was he looking for sort of closure, as peace, as in, was it?
Yeah. Now, if we talk about quote energy, okay, and we talk about when people pass, there's a common belief that if people die tragically, like in a sudden accident or this or that, or unexpectedly, that their soul gets a bit caught.
Yeah,
And so this child came in still vividly because he died suddenly and quickly. And so these memories were still within the energy of James Houston that became James Leninger.
crazy, isn't it?
It is.
It's
It,
incredible,
it is. It is crazy.
And people can go and research on YouTube, I think, can't they? I think isn't there a documentary?
Yes.
And
Yeah. You can look up James Leninger or James Houston, Hueston, either one, and that'll take you through some clips.
maybe at the end, Mary, you wouldn't mind just typing in a link for that or something like that, or even just what to search for people. Anybody who would like to
Sure.
follow that and follow what Mary's
Okay.
saying there. It's quite incredible, and there's tons of stories. I know Mary Murphy, for instance, that's another famous story down in Cork.
That's
Uh,
another one.
and there's just tons. So anybody, go out and do the research yourself and have a look at it. But is there anything,
Absolutely.
is there any sort of clues or tips you might tell people out there that would, you know, it have, are there dreams or, that deja vu a lot? Is there any sort of things you might say, well, listen, if you experience these sort of things a lot, it could be a key that there's something there that needs to be dealt with, or,
Something going on. Okay.
yeah.
Well, usually, like I was saying before, if you have a and this is, I like this one too. If you have repetitive dreams that are the same dream over and over and over again, there's something there. There's
Yeah.
something there, whether it's a past life or just a trauma that you've experienced. But particularly, what happens is that it's usually something from another time and place, um, and a past life, because it's repetitive, and that story is needing to be told and found. So you might investigate past life regression for that. A lot of people dream that they have special talents or special things like that. Like I used to dream I could speak Spanish or that I could play the piano,
Hmm.
and couldn't do either. Now I eventually ended up doing all those things in this life,
Hmm.
but for me, perhaps those were things that I had brought in with me
Yes.
in this life. Okay,
Yeah.
so dreams that you're you but a different you. Those are all good keys and hints that there might be something else going on there. That there is a past life connection going on. And a lot of times, people may have experiences that there is absolutely not one connection in this life.
Yeah.
Like, say, someone keeps, they're afraid of fire, and they're having terrible feeling like they're going to die in a fire all over again, and they've never had that experience.
Yeah.
They've researched and researched, and they were never in a fire. There was never a fire in their life. So they can't explain these feelings with anything in their current living conditions. So
Yeah.
that is another way that you may think that you want to go back and have a look into something, quote, past life.
Okay, because that makes sense. Because I'm just thinking now, when you're talking about recurring dreams, I was thinking about something there. Because we know, we can take in thousands of images every day, lots of pixels, and which make up
Oh,
different.
yeah.
We're like computers. We keep refreshing the image every second or two, and we keep
Hmm.
refreshing, billions of pixels. But all that information goes in, but it has to be vented off somehow, because so basically what happens is when you're asleep, your subconscious mind is more active than when you're awake, and your conscious
Exactly.
mind and the subconscious mind file information back and forth, what's relevant, what has emotional impact, and what's useless information, and it vents off the useless information in dreams. But if you're having a recurring dream, of a trauma, that would suggest to me that there's something unfinished. There's something that
Something,
needs to
yeah,
be looked at, basically. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
needs to have attention. And then deja vu, again, deja vu experiences, I've had them a lot myself. And usually at the time I was having them, I was thinking, well, these are just little signposts for me to know I'm kind of on the right track. But deja vus can also be that I've done this before. You know, this is something that I've lived or experienced. Now, also deja vu is they try to explain it as a malfunction of the brain as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
That when information is being taken in, now I'm not saying right or wrong because I don't know, but another explanation for deja vu is information is being taken in. However, it's bypassing the active part of the mind that says, oh, I'm seeing this,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And it goes in and gets stored as a memory rather than being taken in as
Yeah. Yeah.
conscious fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
It goes in and it becomes stored in the memory bank so that when it happens again, we think, oh, I've experienced this, when in actuality it was stored incorrectly
Yeah. Yeah.
and bypassed the
Yeah.
conscious part of your brain.
Yeah. It's a long time since I experienced it, and I'll be honest with you, I probably only experienced it maybe 3, 4 times in my whole life, but it's the weirdest thing when you do. It's like, I remember, I don't know what, I was walking into a meeting once, and every step I took, I was there before. You know, it's just incredible. But it's
Uh-huh.
never in that building. You know, it's just, it's mind blowing stuff, and
It is.
yeah, lovely stuff. So, next question, Mary. If I'm a bad or evil person in a past life, does that mean that I will always be bad or evil?
Ah, I like that question
Yeah,
because I think that's one of the biggest reasons why people don't want to do past life work or past life regression. They're afraid they're going to find out they did some horrible things and now that's going to follow them the rest of their life. Basically, the answer to the question is yes and no, but more no than anything. Because quite honestly, what happens is when the belief is when we come in and we have this bad life, then we have to come back and atone for that by maybe being a better person in the next life, or doing something different, being working for charity or some other thing that helps move us up the ladder of enlightenment. Okay, so
yeah,
let's think of it this way. Energy is energy. We have that energies in there that's stored. What's important is by the end of the life, had you figured out what happened and what did you do with that information so that when you incarnated the next time, are you going to repeat that? Or are you going to say, right, no, I learned that lesson. Now let's move on to another one.
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
no, it doesn't mean you're destined to be a bad person in every incarnation. It just
So it's
doesn't.
nearly like
But it's a
nearly like updating your morals nearly every time, isn't it? Like one time you might have, hurt somebody or treat them really bad, and in the next life, yeah, it's not in you. You can't. You watch somebody being treated unjust or so, and like does this tie
exactly.
in, Mary, with not religion as we know it, Catholic Church now, but does it tie in with a spirituality where we've all signed up to come down here to experience this life and to all different ways, and you know
Yes.
to be hurt, to be the perpetrator, to we've experienced all these different things. We take all this knowledge with us. Is that you know
That's a lot of if we look at being here on this planet from a spiritual point of view, this is like the classroom.
yeah,
This is where we create, and the way I've understood this is you have the universe or God or whatever you call that higher power,
yeah,
and it's that universal intellect, okay? But it can't experience,
yeah,
okay? It's there.
yeah,
So a piece of us, a piece of energy that becomes us, breaks off and says, okay, I'm going to have this experience, and this experience. This is what I want to learn. So, and that actually takes and flips the coin too on how we perceive other people.
yeah,
Because if we want to learn what it's like to be oppressed, do we not have to have oppressors? If we want to know what it's like to be abused, do we not have to have abusers?
yeah,
So I'm not
yeah,
saying they're right,
yeah.
but somebody has to play that role so that we can have that experience. So does that necessarily make them evil, or does that make them a willing participant in the play that helps us learn the experience that we want?
Well, there's the thing. You see, it's all about duality, isn't it? You can't have hot without cold. You can't have night without day, and you can't have good without evil. And
Exactly.
yeah, so I see that, but something popped into my mind there when you're talking about that, and I'm sort of going, so when we work with people and we do anger release and forgiveness, are we interrupting that? So, because if the person, because if the person was the sort of person that every, you know, people who hurt them in the bad, and every time they see them, they go, I hate you, and I'm angry with them. Are we interrupting that process? But
Actually, what you're doing I think by the time people come to us and we get to that stage of anger release and forgiveness, I look at that as lifting the veil
yeah,
to the reality of what actually is going on.
yeah,
I don't think we're interrupting it. I think we're actually showing them reality of what this is about. That that wasn't a personal issue. That, hey, they did that because they came in this way for this job, for this method, and you came in the way you came, and you worked together to create this.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so I think we're actually lifting the veil and let them know so that it can be depersonalized, and people can move on from it, because as long as they carry it like he did this to me and he was evil and he did that, as you and I well know, you're not going to get over that
yeah, yeah.
until you depersonalize it and lift it up and say it's the way it is.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's a
and
beautiful
you
thing.
can move
So
on.
then that makes sense, because we're sort of not speeding up the process, but we're doing our bit to help humanity. That's the way I see it. And you know,
Exactly.
just when you say that, beautiful, lovely lady in today, and I won't go through her details because she's probably even watching there. But basically, at home, a horrific situation over years and years, not getting on with the husband, you know, and just the sort of the husband that would get his security from putting other people down, sort of thing. And
Uh-huh.
we did anger release forgiveness for maybe 3 weeks ago, and she came in today, and she is a completely different person. I mean, she bounced in the door with happiness. She says, everybody that stops in the street goes to me, what have you done? And the difference in her, you know, and now she can still live in that same situation, but it's not personal. And, you know, we've lifted her veil, but we've given her complete freedom, because, you know, it was very toxic what she was doing, and, you know, because she'd never answer back. So she's repressing all the emotion, which is
Oh yeah,
really dangerous.
the old suppression.
Yeah, repressing all the energy, the toxic energy. So,
Yeah.
but just to see the change in the lady, you know, after doing that session, you know, and but everything has changed, and people can see the difference. She's sleeping better, she feels healthier, she's happier.
Uh-huh.
She doesn't see that position she's in now, because a lot of people now who aren't getting on with their other half, they can't afford to move out, and they're sort of trapped now. You can't just go, well, I'm going to move
Yeah.
out and get myself another house, because you
Yeah.
can't, one, you can't afford it. Number two, there's no houses.
Can't manage it. Yeah.
So they're sort of stuck in a toxic environment, and you know, the only really way to deal with that is to release all that repressed emotion. You know, so yeah, beautiful. Okay.
Exactly. Release that and change the perception of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I want to go back to the lady on the ship, because this is what
Oh
amazed
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
The lady on the ship, when we did the class the last time,
Yeah.
she
Oh yeah.
had been beaten in this dream. I mean,
Yeah.
in this vision, she had been beaten and beaten in her back. The woman had never been able to sleep on her
That's
back.
right. I
Never.
remember.
Not in her life, ever.
Yeah.
She came back the next day. She told me it was the first night she'd ever slept on her back. And we talked to her just recently, and that's been about a year ago, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, nearly. And she has slept on her back every night since.
Yeah.
So
I
that's how instantaneous a
yeah.
physical release can happen.
And you know what, Mary? I was there and I witnessed every moment of that demonstration. And you're 100% spot on. And I actually know the lady, lovely girl, and you're spot on.
Uh-huh.
And I gobsmacked, because I remember the next day she went on the Sunday, and she was gobsmacked because she'd never been able to sleep on the back. You know, so,
Never, never,
and again,
absolutely never.
so when you see this live in front of your own eyes, it's an amazing thing. It really is. You know, I'm a complete convert. You know, but I'm like yourself. You know, it's if you get results from it, yeah, you don't really need to know whether can somebody scientists prove it or not. It's irrelevant.
That
What's relevant is that girl went from having back issues to having none, from going back.
to have
Remember,
none, absolutely
and her
none.
slave number was 45. Am I right? She had a number 45.
45 or 46, I don't remember
Yeah, I
which,
think
but
it was 45.
if you remember 45, it probably was then.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, incredible.
Yeah, because when I asked her name, she just gave me a number. I
Just a
said,
number.
no, your name. 45. That's it.
45.
That's all she could tell me.
Didn't have one. Incredible, isn't it? Incredible. Okay, mate.
It is.
So the next question then would be, do I have the same relationships with people in each life? So I think you've sort of half, but
Ah,
let's go through that again anyway.
Okay. Well, what happens is when we actually get somebody into a past life, one of the things that we're going to look at is we're going to look at if there are people in that life that they know of in this life that they're sharing the experience with again. Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes the answer is no. It can be depending on the situation and actually what's happening in that past life. But we don't always have the same relationship. Okay. 1 minute you could be in a life where you were somebody's mother,
Yeah.
and the next time you could be their auntie or their daughter or their son. And yes, we change genders, we change professions, we change, I mean, everything can change.
Hmm.
And there'll be what people call soul groups, people who are working through certain issues together in the quote soul family thing. They'll sort of travel together, and they can be very close, or they can be like a bit removed and be just people who kind of step in, like if we maybe we're getting a little bit off track, and they'll sort of pop in our life and kind of help us redirect ourselves and put ourselves a little bit closer
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
track. Or they could be the one that comes in and completely derails us
Yeah.
and takes us a complete different direction that we don't want to go, but we need that experience of being derailed to appreciate that positivity
Yeah.
and where we are actually
Yeah.
going.
That makes sense, because we
So
talked about this a while ago, duality, and yeah, have
duality,
different
yeah.
experiences and that. Here's a question: is it possible to come back as a cat or a dog or a frog or a mouse or a fly? Is it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Damn.
It's just energy. It's just energy.
Yeah.
I did a regression one time. Somebody had been a mole. And now sometimes when I start getting ones like that, I kind of start thinking maybe they're archetypes versus an actual past life. But they came back as a mole. But one of their problems was shyness and not being out, feeling like they wanted to be more present in their life, but they couldn't be. So, but when they regressed, they were a mole hiding down and they couldn't get out.
Yeah.
So sometimes when they come back as little animals and things, it could be more of an archetype versus an actual past life, but it doesn't matter
Yeah.
as long as we've got the energy and address it. I'm trying to think if I've had any other crazy ones like that. Um,
You
but
can
yeah,
see,
somebody
yeah,
came
he's
back
not
as a
making a
mole.
mountain out of a molehill. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Here's one for you. My mother had cats for most of my life when I was growing up. Cats,
Uh-huh.
and I've always been amazed by cats. There's something strange about cats. There's just something I've always felt something. I don't know. There's something about a cat. I can't put my finger on it. I know all the Egyptians they love their cats
Oh
and
yeah.
their cats. Well, is there anything about a cat that we should know about? Do you think there's any connection with them,
Well,
or
yeah, here's the thing about
is
cats,
it
and
nine lives and
unfortunately it's not woo-woo. It's just a
yeah,
fact.
yeah,
Cats have so many they have different rods and things in their eyes, and they can see spectrums of light that
yeah,
we can't see.
yeah,
So what happens is when your cat is sitting there looking in the corner and absolutely nothing, it sees something,
yeah,
whether it's a flash of energy, whether it's an insect that's so tiny that we can't see it.
yeah,
But cats see different lights and spectrums of light that
yeah.
we cannot visualize or even know or understand. Um, However, on the other hand, when I would do healing in the house, my cat, my cat would, I'd always ask my clients, this is when I was before I moved to Ireland, I'd always ask my clients, do you mind my cat being in the room? Because oh no, that's fine. And I said, if she gets up on you or around you, are you okay? Yeah, that's no problem.
Hmm.
And my cat, because when I do healing, I see the energy. I can see the energy. And when I saw the cat would come up and would lay down on a person, and I could see gold energy just coming down into the cat. And then I would be working on this person, and just about the time I thought I needed to move to a particular place, the cat would get up, move over to the spot that I was going to move to, nose around, paw at the space, and then lay down on that very same
Wow.
spot. So they're very healing as well.
Yeah, and that's a fantastic point, because I always remember cats, and if you look at them, and next of all, they just look at something in the middle of the room. I think we see in seven, colors or spectrum,
Uh-huh.
very very small spectrum anyway, where there's thousands of different spectrums that we don't even see.
That we can't,
Wi-Fi,
yes,
for instance, we can't see Wi-Fi. There's something we can't see.
no,
But it's all around
but
us,
it
like.
is there. Yeah.
but
And
that's,
actually,
yeah,
oh, go ahead.
no, further.
Oh, and actually, the cat's purring, we always think that about that being contentedness, but actually, a cat's purring is at a frequency that, like, say, if I'm not well, my cat will come up and sit on me and purr and then when I feel a bit better, she'll get up and go.
Yeah,
And when cats are unwell and sick, they will purr for themselves and heal themselves as well. So
vibration.
there's a lot about cats that are very unique.
Yeah, vibration again. And you know, just going back to what you're saying there, a couple of things have popped into my mind. It's great as we're going through this. It's nearly going back to the first conversation we had there about the Netting technique. And you know, when you look at hypnosis, we go back to the Greek temples, the sleep temples, and they go in there for days,
Uh,
and they'd have, you know, the guys on the drum, boom, boom, and just this repetition and repetition. So, you know,
repetition,
it's
yeah,
possible that they were going back and visiting past experiences and lives, you know, too. You know, that's what I see now when I
absolutely.
think back, because we know that's probably our earliest records of hypnosis, even though it goes back before that. But it's the sort of
Yeah,
earliest records of it. But that makes a lot of sense, just that the vibration of the drum, you know.
yeah,
But that, here's a question just popped into my mind, Mary. You know, okay, so we can go backwards. Can we go forward?
yes,
Ah,
absolutely.
okay.
Yes. Future life progression.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, we can connect you to we get you in trance, and then we connect you to the energy of your future and let you do that. And it's again, this is all exploration. This is not me standing here saying
yeah,
this is what you see, this is what, it's nothing like that. You're there now. Tell me, what do you experience? What do you notice? What is happening?
yeah.
And you just guide them through that process. So yes, we can go forward.
Mhm.
And even in when I do past life regression, if I come into a particular situation that's a bit tough and I'm not getting anything out of that particular spot, I will regress and progress within the
Yeah,
regression
yeah,
to,
yeah.
to get the full story.
Yeah, it's funny. It's, you know, because it's like when I'm thinking about fortune tellers, and I know there's a lot of people that, like, I always remember my sisters going. I mean, you know, the family, the mother, all, you know, when I was younger, and they'd all go, "Come on!" I go, there's always a part of me that didn't want to know. I just, you know,
Uh-huh.
I felt like I'd jinx it if I knew what to expect. And
Yeah.
I'm sure it's the same for people. I don't have no problem going back because it's in the past and fixing stuff. But you know, would that be a concern people would have? You know, it's nearly like I prefer to let destiny roll out in front of me rather than
Mm-hmm.
see what's happening. You know, or go forward and see
See
what
what's
might happen.
yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
because the problem, sorry, not the problem, the possible risk I see with that is that if the progression came from your own, and there was, you know, and there was stuff in it that wasn't too pleasant, and you truly believe that, you're actually going to bring it to you,
Uh-huh.
and that's the thing
Yeah.
I'd fear
You're
about
gonna
it.
do that.
Yeah,
Well, here's the trick to all this. We're back to energy again. Okay. And this is when I do intuitive work with clients. This is the cornerstone of what they have to understand to get the full benefit of what we're doing. Whatever vibration you are carrying at this moment, and you move from this moment forward within that vibration, because that's where you're at,
mm.
the future that you see or experience or notice is going to be based on the vibration that you're in.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So the trick to that is, what do we do to raise the vibration that you're in now so that the future you're carrying will be of the higher vibration and the quality and the caliber that you want?
mm.
Because nothing, as much as people want to believe this, nothing is written in stone.
No.
It's all based on you, your thoughts, your actions, the vibrations that you carry, the vibrations that you clear, and the vibrations that you create. That is what predicts your life, nothing else.
Because now we're getting into the world of talking about manifestation. So people, for instance, Conor McGregor had this belief that he was going to be the best in the world, so he brought that vibration up and he followed it, and he became the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the same is true for people out there. Anybody who has negative thinking and negative, I'm no good and, you know, no use, and I can't do this and I can't do that. They're basically going backwards, aren't they? They're sort of, you know, they're following a negative vibration.
Absolutely.
Whereas once you change your thinking and you start imagining your life completely different, you change the vibration yourself, which then gives you that path to go there. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm going to give you, when we're talking about manifestation, now you've known me 8 years. My hair
Yeah,
has been straight as a poker, has it not?
yeah, that's true.
My hair, always straight. About a month ago, I said to myself, I said, do you know what? I wonder if I should get a perm again because I really like it when my hair is curly. Look at my hair.
Yep,
And
yep.
it has been straight all my life. I've never had curly hair, never. But just that thought, and my hair starts getting curly. So I can't explain that other
Oh,
than,
curl itself.
yeah.
Sorry, it's that's. Oh, sorry. I thought you went and got it done. Sorry. The,
Oh
the curl.
no, I
Okay.
did
Yeah. Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I did not get a perm.
Yeah.
I did nothing to this hair. Absolutely
Right.
nothing. My hair has always been straight. I've kept it short and straight forever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I decided to let the color come back into it, that's what I said. I said, I wonder if I should just go get another perm because I like it curly.
Mm.
And then within the last month, it started getting curly. I'm like, okay, that really freaks me out now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But that's
it's incredible to say that because I always tell the story. Remember, it must be 6, 7 years ago, and because you know me, I do a lot of research, a lot of work with the mind, and the power of thinking and all that. But I remember I was driving into work in Drogheda, and I remember having like a little water blister here on my finger,
uh-huh.
just around there. Started getting, you could sort of notice it was getting bigger. And I remember actually when I parked in at the car park before work, I just closed my eyes and I went into imagination and I connected this hose in here right down my left arm, right
Mhm.
down to that spot, and I basically turned on top of healing fluid, right? And
Yeah.
people probably won't believe this, but within 2, 3 minutes, it had completely reduced by about 80%. Yeah,
Went
and
away. Yeah.
that's the power. I think the biggest problem people have out there with manifestation or the law of attraction, all that stuff, their the subconscious background is not positive in the first place because it needs to be healed.
No,
Okay, so
that
if you
that
have a
is
like,
it.
yeah, if you have a life where it was always negative, maybe negative parents constantly saying you'll never do this, you'll never do that, or whatever, or just negative experiences in life where you don't have that inner belief in yourself, well then you can imagine till the cows come home, you're going to get a check through the door for 50 grand. It ain't going to happen
Yeah.
because
No,
because your imagination isn't matching the program. So you need to deal with the
because
program, and then the imagination matches with it. And yeah, that makes sense.
exactly.
Yeah,
Because belief has to be present.
yeah,
Belief and the emotion has to be present.
yeah.
Elsewise, like you say, those subconscious patterns that are negative, they're just going to go in there and say,
Yeah,
no, no, no,
yeah.
not going to
There's
happen.
no belief. Yeah, yeah. Doesn't match,
Yeah,
it will be rejected. Fantastic. This is brilliant, Mary. Loving
exactly.
this. Okay, Mary. So we've covered this already. The next one was what way can past ice being reached. We talked about the netting technique. My battery is getting low, by the way.
Oh,
We're
yes.
talking about the net technique, deja vu, dreams. Or, we talked about all that, so we sort of answered that one already.
Yeah.
Last question. Okay, Mary. Can you get stuck in a
Okay.
past? Can you get stuck in a past life and not come back?
No.
Yeah,
I've lost no one yet.
that was
But
my question.
I have had people go, what if I can't come back? What if I'm there forever? I said, you're not, because it's a state of trance, and we can break a state of trance, no problem. That's no problem at all. And as I said, I've lost no one yet.
Yeah,
The closest I came to being worried one time, it was one of the very first times that I did the course and have everybody down and took them back. I do a general regression within the course, and we just have them connect into to where they're going. And all of a sudden, now she was foreign, and she started talking, but not in
yeah,
anything anybody could understand.
yeah,
And so I'm still walking and we actually had somebody in the room that was assisting me, and they went over and tried to kind of help calm them. But the words it wasn't so much the words, but the tone.
yeah.
And the
Emotion.
tone was like confrontational, and you're not going to tell me what to do, and I'm never going to listen to you again. That was the tone of what was being said.
Yeah, yeah.
And at the end of the thing, she came back to me, Mary. She said, Mary, I have no idea what happened. I just know I'm not afraid anymore. So,
Well, here's
energy.
one, Mary. Here's a final question for you, Mary. Just talking about sometimes people don't want to come back. That's the closest I've ever seen to that was where I basically demonstrated the coma state in a masterclass in Dublin.
Yep.
The coma state is the S-day state for anybody out there wondering. And basically, it's a depth of trance which is so deep that you can have an amputation without anesthetic and not even know. Okay, it's incredible. You can have brain surgery, And in fact, it's used a lot more so in America. You know, in hospitals where, you know, older people mightn't be well enough to take the anesthetic, or the, you know, the local anesthetic, general anesthetic, they're just not capable of taking it. And I have an
Yeah.
open heart surgery with just the coma state. You know,
Yep.
but you just bring me back to this guy, William was his name, and I think I'm just wondering, is the same, is there a pattern here? And you know, I demonstrated, and the whole class was lying on the floor. They all brought in pillows, blah blah blah. And I did the induction and then the process into the coma state. And you know, when I was emerging everybody, one person would not come back. Just William would not come back no matter what. And you know, and I know as a you know, trainer, lecturer, and all that sort of stuff, that first thing you do is don't panic, because you'll panic
Yeah.
everybody else in the room. But I was there scratching my head
Don't
going,
panic.
okay, okay. And I started telling everybody, oh no, this is normal, it's natural, you know. And I was slapping him in the face and everything, saying, William, on the count of 3, open your eyes, and it wasn't happening. And you know this trick, and I know this trick, and it's basically, you got to say to them quite, you know, authoritative, if you don't come back now, I'll never ever let you experience this feeling again. Okay, and eventually, I'd say it took 20 minutes to get him back, but you know,
Yeah.
and when he came back, his first words to me was, "Why did you do that?" And because it's really interesting. When we talked a little bit more about it, his life was so horrible at home. You know, he lost his wife, his family had moved away, he was lonely, he was miserable. He had a job that he was sort of being picked on and bullied in the ASB and all that. And he did not want to come back to this experience. He wanted to stay in that one. And that was it, you know.
That was it, yeah.
One last question, Mary.
Sure.
Is this possible, or have you ever experienced somebody going back to a past life and they speak a different language?
As close, not actually in a one-to-one,
Yeah.
but in that group session, we did have that girl speaking something.
Oh, she was speaking different.
Again,
okay.
She was speaking some language, but the tone of it was defiant. So that was what I just knew that it was something like she was standing for herself for the first time, but I couldn't understand a word she was saying because it was another language. And let's see, Sylvia Brown, she would do hypnosis, and she had people who would speak different languages, and she would tape them and send them off to language experts. And I think one of them was some sort of archaic Egyptian language somewhere. So it can happen. Absolutely. Wow. It can happen.
Well, listen,
I've not actually experienced it in a one-to-one, but it can happen.
Okay, listen, Mary, before we finish, I've had a ball. I love this, you know, I'm sort of converted, you know, now at this stage. But I just love it, you know, and basically because I've seen it in before my eyes. I've seen it happen. I've seen people, again, that skeptic fella, the lovely fella, I won't mention any names, but he knows who he is. But he's sort of going up to do the demonstration in his own mind, going, "No, this is, you know, whatever." And then being left there by his uncle in a, you know, it's just stunning, you know. But as we both say, you know, there's no right and wrong here. If you know, as a Sheryl Crow sang that song, "If it makes you better, it can't be that bad." I mean, if it makes it happy, it can't be that bad. But Mary, if anybody's interested, how can they find you? If they'd like to go for a one-to-one past life regression experience with you, how can they find you?
Okay. They could find me at the Irish Hypnosis site and look for me in Blackrock at irishhypnosis.ie, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep. Okay. And then look up the Blackrock Clinic. You can find me on Facebook at Irish Hypnosis Blackrock. And you can find me. I have a website for my overall general, which is the vibrationalinstitute.com. You can check me out there as well. Okay.
Would you mind putting that in the comments later on, Mary, just for, because I know there's probably got a lot of people asking questions, and you're the expert. I'll leave you to answer them. Okay. But we'll have you back on again, Mary. And again, if anybody was interested in actually doing an introduction to this stuff, or you know, any qualified hypnotists out there, or anybody who wanted to just qualify in past life regression, is that possible?
Absolutely. Yes, it is. We have a program that's in the process of accreditation right now, and we're ready to roll.
Brilliant. Well, listen, Mary, absolute pleasure as always, and I hope everybody out there enjoyed it. It's fascinating. I could talk to you all night about this stuff.
I know. Thank you. I've really enjoyed talking with you. Thank you.
Absolutely, Mary. And thanks for spending the time with us. I truly, truly appreciate that, and I hope everybody out there got something from that. And I think next Wednesday night, Tim is going to be speaking with Derek. So I'm basically having.
Ah, lovely.
Yeah, well, no, I have a meeting. I have a meeting next Wednesday, so at 5 o'clock. So it's going to make it difficult for me to get back from Dublin to here and all that, and be in But I think as far as you know, Derek is coming on with Tim, and Tim's
That's
fantastic
good.
gent, as you know yourself, very experienced in what he does, and I'm
Uh-huh.
looking forward to that as well. So listen, Mary,
I'll be
thanks a
tuning
million.
in.
Thank you,
You're
and
very welcome, and thank you.
talk to you soon. I'll talk to you in the next
Bye-bye.
life.
Oh, in the next life. There you go. Bye.
Bye. Bye.